Hi guys, it's Brett from Ninja Gaming, and today I'll be showing you the Bard class in the Minecraft game mode Annihilation. So this video will show you the pros and cons of the Bard class and give you tips and tricks in getting kills and winning the game. The Bard class is for players who want to use their musical abilities to aid friendlies and hurt enemies. The Bard spawns with a wooden axe, a wooden pickaxe, a wooden sword, and an item called the buff box. The buff box can be placed anywhere on the ground, apart from near nexuses. Once you've placed it down, you can right click it and it will give you a selection of different songs. Each one of these different songs has its own abilities, so I'm going to tell you guys what does what. The first song is Invigorate. When selected, it will send out a massive wave of note which look really awesome. But what this does is it gives you regen 1. The regen can be really good, especially if you place it somewhere at mid, as you can just mine diamonds and be safe from enemy attackers. Another trick that you can do is as soon as you come out of a fight, you can just place it down and get some quick regen. I'd have to say that the Invigorate song is the best team-based song, as the regen is really handy in a fight. The next song is Enlighten, and I have to say this is the most smoothing melody of them all. The song gives speed 1 to any teammates that are around you, meaning you'll have the same speed as the scout. A good place to put it is in a position where lots of teammates will be running past. This means they get extra speed and will be able to get to their destination quicker. A nice little spot I found was on Coastal right at the top of the hill, so people can just get the speed and run straight to mid. Another thing you can do is that if you want to chase someone or run away from someone, you can just place it down and get instant speed. A good place to put it is right next to a TP, as friendly players can just go through it and get the speed and run straight to the enemy's nexus. The next song is Intimidate. This one is just for enemies. When selected, it will give any enemies in the area weakness 2, which is really powerful. From what I found out here is that this player's diamond sword does half a heart less damage when weakness is active, which can be really handy in a fight. The trick is to place it in a place where lots of enemies will be fighting. A good place to put it is right on the entrance of your nexus, as enemy rushers will get a nasty little surprise. The final song that the Bard gets is Shackle. This also works on enemy players. When placed down, it gives any enemies near you slowness. This slowness is really good if you want to catch up to an enemy that's just killed you or stolen someone's gear. A good place to put this song is places where lots of enemies are running by. Bridges and walkways are a good example of this, as enemy players will try and run to get you, but they won't be able to catch up. You can even place this at mid, where you can manoeuvre around your enemies quicker and kill them faster. Things to keep in mind are that the Bard has a 10-second cooldown for placing the buff box. There's also a 60-second cooldown between switching songs. This means you can't be going back and forth from the same song. You should also watch out for enemies, as they can easily break your buff box. I'll say this class is really good for campers, as you can just place it down and give yourself a constant effect. If you don't want enemies to break your buff box, you can easily just cover it up. This means they'll have a harder job getting to it. You should also know that when you die, your buff box disappears. If you're really clever, you can get multiple bards and stack up your box buffs and get loads of effects. Now you can move on to the rating of the Bard. For useful, and leave it an 8 out of 10. It's really useful as it helps yourself, your team, and harms the enemy, which is a mix that most classes don't have. For killing, I leave it a 7 out of 10. The buffs you get really help with killing, especially weakness, as you're more likely to survive the fight. However, you do pretty much have to be stationary. For fun, I leave it a 7 out of 10. It's a fun little class to play, as the music makes the gameplay experience more enjoyable, and the particle effects are just so swanky. For ease of use, I leave it a 7 out of 10. Like I said before, it means you have to stay around one place most of the time, and it's not the most practical of classes, as you might leave your boss buff lying around and forget where it is. For Troll, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The weakness and slowness are really annoying if you get them, and the music after a while can get a little repetitive. So the overall rating is, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I honestly think the class is really good if you like me and spend a lot of time around the same place. However, I wouldn't recommend it if you're the kind of player that just wants to get going and charge. But even if you are like that, the Bard will still help. Thanks for watching guys, make sure you check out our other class reviews, give us a like, give us a sub and give us a comment. I'll see you guys next time.